Hi there, welcome back to the channel. I hope you had a great Christmas. Today is the day after, it's the 26th of December, and so we are heading over to Northern Ireland to see family. Now, we're going to take the Enyaq. I vowed many years ago never to take an EV back to Northern Ireland because the charging infrastructure was rubbish. I spent about 3 hours between queuing and then charging at a garden centre that was shut. I had to run a cable over the hedge to use a 22 kilowatt charger. That was all that was available when I was there in my Tesla. I'm told it's got better. I'm promised it's got better. I'm hoping it's got better. Anyway, we're taking the Enyaq. So, what are we going to do? We are travelling from Livingston across to Lisburn, and we will be travelling for about 2.5–3 hours down to the ferry at Cairnryan, on the boat for 2.5 hours, and then about half an hour at the far side. So in terms of road travel, it's not massive. It's going to be about 3.5 to 4 hours worth of driving. The car's at 99%. It's just got 3 minutes left to charge. It's charged overnight. The whole house has been running on off-peak electricity. Thank you very much, Octopus. If you want to know how to do that, check out the link down below. There's a referral code, and you and I will each share £100 between us on your energy bill if you join Octopus. It's a great tariff. Intelligent Octopus Go. So today it's going to be about 4.5 hours, maybe 5 hours of driving, a couple of hours on the ferry, so it'll take us most of the day. And I'm going to just use the Škoda sat nav. I'm not going to do much filming. What I'm going to do when I get down to the ferry terminal, there are I think 6 ultra rapid chargers there. I reckon I'll probably be at about 50% by the time I get there, maybe 60. But anyway, I'm going to top up because we don't have off-street parking in Northern Ireland, so we cannot charge. We're going to be wholly reliant for the next 5 days on public charging. So, going to get as much charge as we can into the car, and then we'll be as full as we can get when we get over to Lisburn. So I'm going to just show you one oddity with the Škoda sat-nav. I've plugged in Lisburn, and it's offering me 3 different routes. Now, if you've not been across the Irish Sea on this route before, there are 2 different options. You can go from Cairnryan across to Larne, and then it's a bit of a longer journey down into the Lisburn area, or you can do what we're doing, going straight into the heart of Belfast, and then it's 25–30 minutes up the road. Bizarrely, and I'll show you this, I'll spin the camera around and show you. So here's a weird thing. If you're going to cross the Irish Sea, you go to the same ferry port. You go here to Cairnryan. So no matter which ship I get on, I am going to the same ferry port, Škoda, alright? But if I want to go on the boat that I'm not going on, I'll go straight across to Glasgow, down to Ayr, on the M77 and A77. Perfect, that's the way I would always go. It's the shortest, quickest route. But according to Škoda, if I want to get on the other ship, on the Stena Line, I have to take a road that's, this is actually quite a long, windy country road, through Dumfries and Galloway, and take 56 minutes extra. Or worse still, go down the M74 and then go along the south coast of Scotland there for an extra 1 hour 38 minutes. Why? That makes no sense. Anyway, who knows? We are going to go straight down that road as it's indicated, and I'll just get on a different ship and it'll work out when I get to Belfast that I'm in a different place, so we shall see. It's predicting at the moment I would get there via this longer route with 41% left, but of course I'm going to charge when I get there, so we shall see what I've got when I get down to Cairnryan and I plug into the Stena Line chargers that are down there. So the boot, if you can see there, is absolutely full. We've got basically 3 adults worth. My son's almost 18, so that's an adult. 3 adults worth of stuff, food, drink, Christmas presents, all sorts of stuff, and the Enyaq's taking it all. One thing we have done is round here we've got a cool box for some more food, and then my camera bag and all the kit. And this Ionity charger is making a very strange noise. We just stopped to grab a cup of coffee and have some lunch, and plugged in the car while we were here. Been only here for about 10 minutes. It's a brand new site, but you can see over there we've got the foundations in for doubling the size of the charger site. All good at Ayr. Okay, so you join us now in Northern Ireland, three and a half days later. And I said on the last part of the video that I was going to charge at the ferry terminal. Unfortunately, when you arrive at Cairnryan, there's a roundabout, and the very first entrance is pretty much taking you into check-in, and obviously that's kind of where you head. And the chargers, I discovered after I checked in at the ferry, are on the other side of the fence in a car park outside the terminal, which kind of makes sense because you don't want them locked away where people can't charge if they happen to be in the area. So that makes sense. So we arrived here with 65%. So if you subtract the 12 that I had added at Air at the Ionity charger, that means we would have arrived here with 53%, which is a lot better than the 41% which the car was predicting. So again, the predictions on charging apps and even on the car software are quite conservative to help stop you getting into trouble. So we've been driving around now for 3 days, just doing local runs round about. I'm not even sure how much, what distance we've covered, but we've been running backwards and forwards, visiting people and so on. And so the car's now at 51%. This is where I now think I want to charge in order to prepare for the return journey in 2 days' time. We don't have charging at the house we're staying at, so I have to use public charging. And I vowed 3-4 years ago when I was last here that I would not come back with an electric vehicle to Northern Ireland until the charging situation had improved. And people assured me that there was a lot more charging infrastructure. And there is across Northern Ireland. It just doesn't seem to be here in the part where I'm staying. So I'm in Lisburn. So here we are on the PowerPass map. You can see there's available chargers there. Those are 22 kilowatt chargers. So I would charge 11 kilowatts. They're at Adobe's Garden Centre where there's a GridServe hub being built. But those at the moment are 85 pence, which is eye-wateringly expensive for something I would have to sit on for hours. Public chargers that are really fast can be quite expensive, but you're kind of paying for the convenience. Here at Dobby's, you're paying for, well, I don't know what you're paying for, just electricity. These 11 kilowatt chargers I was at the other day, I couldn't actually find them. So I'm not going to go back there. There's a 150 kilowatt BP Pulse, again, 85 pence. You wouldn't mind maybe paying for the faster speed, but that's been out of service for some time. So these 21 kilowatt chargers are at the local cinema and bowling alley. So I'm probably going to head there. They're 40 pence. So you don't mind paying a little bit more than you would be paying at home for that convenience. So that's where I'm going to head. These ones again, 85 pence and pretty expensive stuff. Pod point at Tesco. Well, that's interesting. I was up at Tesco the other day and I couldn't see any chargers whatsoever. Anyway, where I'm going to head down to the bowling alley, cinema, multiplex cinema, and I'm going to use these chargers here, 21 kilowatts. They are 63 pence, but I think with the Electroverse card from Octopus Energy, then there's a discount and it was showing up on that app as 40 pence. So I've mentioned Electroverse a number of times in some videos. If you haven't got it, it's a great thing you can get. You can get an app, then you can also get an RFID card sent out to you. They pretty much have, I say most networks are covered by it, but in some you get something like an 8% extra discount if you are an Octopus Energy customer. And there are 2 referral codes you can use. I'll put them down in the description below. If you want to join Octopus Energy and you are not already on one of their EV tariffs, I really would suggest you do it. And if you use the referral code below, they'll give you a £50 credit on your energy bill. And the other one is the Octopus Electroverse. You don't actually have to be an Octopus customer to get that, but it just wouldn't give you the extra discount. And again, there's a referral code there, and if you use that link, then you will get £5 credit, and you can just put that £5 against a charge into your car. So why wouldn't you? Right, I'm going to head off down to the leisure centre, or Leisureplex I think it's called, and I will plug in at the charger there, and then you can see how it's all working. So in In one of my recent videos, I answered a whole load of questions which either viewers of the channel or Škoda had asked me to answer. And one of the questions that came from Škoda was, how do you spend your time when you're waiting for charging? And in that video I said, I don't really spend any time waiting for charging. I tend to go off and go to the toilet, go and have some coffee, go and have a meal, whatever it is I'm doing on the way, or maybe sleep, that kind of thing. So I never actually wait for charging. Today, because of the situation here in Northern Ireland and the lack of chargers in Lisburn at least, I am going to be having to wait for charging. So my wife and son are at her parents' house, and so they're spending some family time. I've got no other way around it, but I have to spend maybe an hour here getting just enough charging to get us back home in a couple of days' time. So that does mean I'm going to have to spend time charging. And I've actually discovered something about the Enyaq which I didn't know, which goes to show that I have never actually waited in the car while I'm charging. So obviously it's 9 degrees today, so it's a little bit chilly sitting around, and I wanted to put the heating on in the car. But actually I've discovered that when you plug the cable in, the charge cable in, you can't run the heating. The button, the climate control button, when I press that, it says that you can't use this function until the ignition's on. The ignition is on, I press that again, and all it says is you need to disconnect the cable. So actually I had to find another way, and it's really obvious when I think about it. I'm just going to spin the camera around and show you exactly what I mean. So I'm actually just about to watch a film on Netflix, and that'll kill some time while I'm waiting here. But actually the function you need is up here under the stationary air conditioning. So what I can do here is I can set the temperature, and that's all fine. So I can do the basically air condition now setting. No, it's not. Well, now that is weird. Yeah, so the only way to get the car heating to run when I'm sitting here, or to make it even available, I'm not sure why it's making the passenger side available. It shouldn't be doing that at all. So the only way to do it is to turn the ignition off. Then I'm going to turn off aircon because I don't want that. I don't really want it on high. I just want it on 2, so there's some gentle heat in the background, and that is all good. So to answer the question Škoda asked me, how am I going to spend the time while I'm waiting for the car to charge? So this is really rare. This is the first time in almost 4 years of Enyaq ownership I've ever had to do this, because I didn't know that thing about the heating. So I could go around the corner, there's a Costa Coffee, there's a Subway, there's all sorts of places I could get something to eat. But I've just had lunch, I don't really want to do that. What am I going to do? I'm going to use my Tech Wizard Android Auto box. So I've done a separate video on this, but that was on my previous car. And if I go into, how do I go into it? Let's go into the mobile devices. I can see that in the connection setting, I have got a Tech Wizard box there, and that's what I'm using. Go back in there just like Android Auto, and then I can press play, and then I can watch, in this case, a film on Netflix. If I didn't want to watch that, I could go back out to the home screen, and I could use YouTube Music, Channel 4, Disney Plus, Netflix, BBC iPlayer, play a game called Mini Metro, all sorts of things. This works really, really well on a big Enyaq screen, and as I say, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch a film on Netflix. It works really well. Let me just see, what am I going to watch? Let's have a think. I have heard good things recently about Black Doves. Where is that? Oh no, it's going far too quickly. Scrolling up and down isn't great today for some reason. I'm going too far. Netflix, I don't know about you, I find it pretty hit and miss sometimes. Sometimes there's lots of good stuff. Other times there's just nothing really much that I want to watch, or that I haven't already watched. What I'm doing today is I am using a 5G card, a SIM card, which I've inserted into the Tech Wizard, so I don't have to bother messing about with actually, I know what I want to watch. It was on iPlayer. I missed it on TV at New Year. I missed it on TV at Christmas time, and that is the new Wallace and Gromit movie. Where is that on iPlayer? Where is that? Huh. It's not going to show me. Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. I am going to sit and watch that for a little while, at least the start of it. And the beauty of it is you've got the full Enyaq sound system providing the sound. Okay, so I'm going to sit and watch the film. The car's already back up to 53%. Okay, we have been in Northern Ireland for 5 days now, travelling with the Škoda Enyaq 85 Coupe, the edition model. And we have survived solely with public charging. It's not been a great drama. We set off from our home near Edinburgh with 100%, and we give a little quick top up while we stopped and had some lunch for 15 minutes. I think just shy of 15 minutes actually, at Ayr at an Ionity station there. And then 3 days ago I topped up at the local cinema here in Lisburn, and I used a fast charger there, and the family were all busy doing stuff, so I just sat in the car and I watched a movie on Netflix, or part of a movie. All fairly easy. So we're now at 58% and setting off for home, which is about 5 or 6 hours, but that's including 2.5 hours of ferry time, and obviously some sitting around at the terminal waiting to check in. So I thought I'd just share the route planning. Obviously I'm not in an area I'm 100% familiar with. My wife's family are from here, so I'm reasonably familiar, but still I would want to use a sat-nav in whatever car I was in. So I'm going to compare a better route planner, which is my favourite route planning app, and I'm also going to look at the car sat-nav, the Škoda sat-nav system. The one difference as far as I can see is that the better route planner is using the ferry which I am going to use, which is the Stena Line from Belfast, and for some reason the car sat-nav will not give me a choice of ferry. It doesn't even offer me an option, whereas coming the other way from Scotland it did offer me 2 different options. And it's insisting that I have to travel up the coast to Larne and then head across on that ferry. They both end up in the same port in Scotland. So let's have a look. So I've put in Livingston South Railway Station, which is just beside our house, and as you can see down here it's saying I will need 1 charge stop of 5 minutes. It's 190 miles. It's going to take 6 hours and 26, but like I say, 2.5 hours of that will be being on the ferry, and obviously some time sitting at check-in as well. So as you can see, here it is. It's not going to take me to Belfast. I did say it wasn't offering me a choice. It now is. I did the route planning on the app, which can feed you the route straight off to the car, but it didn't offer me that. So I am going to go for the route I am going to go on. That's good. That's better. On the way here, it didn't offer me that. So it's saying 172 miles, but 7 hours and 1 minute. And when I get up to here, it's suggesting I cut across country. I'm not going to do that. That's long country back roads. If I do that one, it's 6 hours and 26 minutes and 190 miles. That is the route I'll take. Motorway up to Glasgow and then across towards Livingston. If I say use that...
Attention, the route contains ferry connections. Your route contains an essential charging stop.
Okay, and that's a really sensible charging suggestion. Tesla Supercharger, Eurocentral, that is open to all, but I'm not sure that that is online. Those Tesla chargers are being upgraded at the moment, and certainly last week they were offline while they were being swapped over to the new chargers, so I'm not sure. I can check that on the Tesla app though, but that's not a bad suggestion. 5 minutes there and we will be back, and we will arrive, it says, with 7%, which is perfect, because when I get home I want a nice empty battery so I can plug it in, and then I will get off-peak power, and that will make it cheaper to run the central heating and everything. So that is all fine. As you can see, actually, one other thing that's always good on the Škoda sat-nav system, it always suggests that there is a stop you could make for snacks and so on, but today for some reason it's suggesting a petrol station. Now obviously that's a service area and it will have lots of options there. I think I've seen 3 or 4 different signs. It's a motorway services, so that's all good. Quite why it's suggesting I want to stop for a parking stop, I'm not sure, but there we are. It's a really, really clever system. I didn't get it at first, thinking why is it suggesting I want to stop at a restaurant 5 minutes after I've left home, but that constantly updates as you're on your journey, and it spots somewhere on your route ahead just in case you happen to want to stop, and it's always updated, and it saves you You can do that thing in Google Maps where you can look for something ahead of you along your route. This means it's just done for you without even having to think about it. So that's good. Now I'm going to connect up the phone to get a better route planner, and then I will show you how that compares. Okay, I've connected up the phone, and as you can now see on the screen, I've got a better route planner using Android Auto. That's all wireless, by the way, another great feature on the Enyaq. Wireless Android Auto, and I assume Apple CarPlay works the same, but it's really great. You just jump in the car and it connects up. Let me show you it on the phone. If I want to go to Livingston South, plan that, I've got 59% battery. That the app knows that perfectly well. Okay, and it's showing me there Belfast to Cairnryan. That's fine, that's the same. It's suggesting I drive there at a maximum of 55. There's quite strong winds today, 25 miles an hour, and it's due to get stronger later, so we're probably going to have quite a bumpy crossing, I would have thought. But yeah, there's no charging required on that version, so that's what I was puzzled by on the screen. Yeah, there's no option or no requirement to charge, so that's good. We're actually going to be meeting a friend for some brunch just shortly at a garden centre, which has got some chargers there, so I'm probably going to put it on there for about 10 minutes, just to give me a little bit of margin in case there's, I don't know, a diversion. That has happened to us on this route before, where we've had to take a long detour. So, and I've knocked the consumption down to something that's a bit more pessimistic. So yeah, you can see there's different options you can put in here in terms of charges and networks, battery speed, vehicle settings, all that sort of thing, but I've just left it pretty much as I have it standard, to arrive with a reasonably low state of charge when I get to any chargers. But since it's not requiring any, that's not relevant. So yeah, let's have a look. 5 hours 38, 174 miles. Škoda reckoned 190 miles, and 6 hours 38. We shall see who is right. So how did the car do? Well, we set off, we had one charge at Ionity at Air just because we were having lunch. We then had the charge yesterday at the garden centre when again we were having lunch. The only time I actually waited for the car at any point was when my wife and son were busy doing something else. I went and plugged it in at the local bowling alley and cinema complex, and I happened to sit in the car having a coffee and watching a movie on the main screen using Netflix. That was the only time I waited for the car, but as I say, I would probably have been sitting in the house watching TV anyway. So was it any different? No, it wasn't. The only other thing I would say is if you are travelling to Northern Ireland, the best thing you could get would be an Octopus Electroverse card. Most of the chargers there are provided by ESB, which is the Irish state energy provider. There are more and more chargers coming in. There is an Ionity site in Belfast, but it wasn't somewhere we were near, and I wasn't going to go kind of 20 miles out my route to get to a charger. There are an increasing number of BP Pulse units there. It just so happened in the place that we were, the two rapid chargers, one by ESB, one by BP Pulse, were both offline for the 5 days that we were visiting. These cards are fantastic right across Europe, thousands upon thousands of chargers you can use, and if you're an Octopus Energy customer, then you also get an 8% discount on many. I certainly did when I was in Northern Ireland. If you want to get one of these, you don't have to be an energy customer of Octopus, although obviously you don't get the discounts if you are. It just means it's convenient. However, I'll put a link down below in the description, and if you use that link to join, then you will get a £5 credit, which will just be used to charge your car. So £5 of free energy into your car, and obviously I get £5 as well. That's not the reason I'm recommending it though. It's just so easy and simple to use. It really is a fantastic aid to just rocking up at pretty much any charger, tapping this on, and away you go. The app does show you which ones are Electroverse compatible. There are some that aren't, but thousands upon thousands are, including Ionity, and certainly in Northern Ireland and the Republic, ESB chargers too. Anyway, that's enough for now. I hope that's been useful. Certainly if you're thinking of travelling to Northern Ireland, then I would get one of these, and I hope these have been some useful tips. I'll see you all soon.